I don't play on Prize Picks. But for sports betting specifically and picking just traditional sides of games, there is a lot of science that goes into that, I think.
Tell me about it.
Okay. So you're a big stock market guy, right? Yeah, win or lose, you're a big stock market guy.
Go ahead.
So about 4 years before I started Prize Picks, there was a private equity fund that reached out to me, and they're like, hey, we love how you talk about sports. We want to diversify our portfolio. We think that if you can formalize this, what would that look like? So I told them that I thought a game, right, a football game, is just like the opening of a stock market. And the market is going to go like this all day long based off how the game plays, right?
Yeah.
And there's going to be opportunities to buy low and sell high essentially throughout the game. And they were really intrigued by all the language of this. And then I had to walk them through and what that looks like. And a perfect example, what's your favorite sports team? What's your favorite sports
The
to watch?
Celtics.
The Celtics. So you love to watch the Celtics play. And who do you love to watch Celtics beat up on?
The Lakers.
Okay, Celtics, Lakers. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So let's say, and you've bet on a sports spread before.
And I'll say it is great.
Yeah.
Like I've been to Vegas and I've placed, and when you have money on the game, it is 10 times, 100 times better. And you're there with a friend, and you're like, oh my God, you know, like, and otherwise I would be like,
it's not a 30-year wait.
And then you're making enemies across the sports book that you don't even know because they're rooting for the Lakers, and you're like, fuck those guys, Celtics all day, right?
And we talk about this. It's not a 30-year wait for return on your money or 59 and a half. I retire.
Oh, yeah,
right?
that's a good point.
It's not a 30-year wait. So it is a fun thing. Sorry to cut you off, but that's important to talk about.
So the professionals of the world, the lines makers, right? They want to balance the scale for a team, right? Because it's not always fair when the Lakers play the Celtics because somebody could be hurt or there's a discrepancy of talent, right? So right now the Celtics are the world champions. So if they played the Lakers in Boston, they'd probably be 6.5, 7-point favorites. That would balance the scale, right? So that kind of makes it like, okay, if I take it intrigues interest on both sides. Because if I just said you can bet the Celtics outright, they're just going to get one-sided action, right? Everybody's going to bet the Celtics because they're world champion, and there's a talent discrepancy there, right? Now that could be argued with Luka and everything, but let's just, for this sake, so the spread is 7, right? We'll just in this hypothetical situation. Well, how many times do you turn on a Celtics game and from start to finish the Celtics win the game?
Yeah.
How many times? 0.
Right.
It's very, very rare that from the moment the ball is tipped off in a game, that team, whether how much better they are or worse they just lead from start to finish.
Right.
The same way when you open up your stock market. Tesla is not going to just look like this all day, every day. It's going to go like this, right? All throughout. And there's a story in there. So the Celtics, whatever, maybe they played the night before. Maybe they're hungover. Whatever. They start slow. So the end of the first quarter, now the Celtics are trailing 30-25. So I have an opportunity there. This game before the game was set at -7. Now I could take the Celtics maybe -2. There's value there.
Right.
And so people now have the opportunity, if you make a predisposed position before the game, like, hey, I'm going to buy the Celtics, but I'm not going to pay the retail price of 7. I'm going to wait for them to get down because I know they suck in the first quarter. Right. I know they make halftime adjustments.
You can place a bet during the game?
In-game live betting is the only way I believe to bet the games. And that's what I presented is you play it like the market, right? And then you go back and then when the Celtics wake up in the second quarter and they catch fire and Derek White bangs 5 threes in a row, next thing you know, they're up 10. Well, guess what you can come do now? Instead of taking the Lakers +7, you can take them +12. So you have this huge middle room of basically zero liability and only opportunity on each side.
Oh, wow.
By just patiently waiting. Most people don't want to patiently wait, right? They want to, right when the game tips, all right, we're locked in. But if you want to be successful,
that's so interesting.
You buy value.
I didn't know you could do that.
Because you got to think about it and how many people, whether they know sports or not, say, man, how does Vegas know? How do they know the spread? It comes down to 5 every time, or they set these totals. 236 points is supposed to be scored in this game. It's always right there. It's 234 with the last possession. It's all, I mean, obviously there's anomalies and there's huge blowouts, but lines makers do a really good job of setting the lines, of making this balance. That's what their job is, to balance the scale, right?
Yeah.
Well, if they're doing their job and you're buying value within their job, you're going to be much more successful than somebody that does it before, when they're buying retail price.
Yeah. It's stock trading.
Yes. And then you come back and you hedge
so
it.
Interesting.
Yes. And you come back and you lay your liability off on the other side.
Really quick, if I say, remember I told you the story about when I was in Vegas for the All-Star game?
Yeah.
And I couldn't do Prize Picks because it was in Vegas. You can't play it there.
Yeah.
And I hit him up and he called it and that was the winning bet. During the last election, remember all the pollsters, right?
Yep.
Trump's going to lose. I'm like, hey, man, what's Vegas saying? He told me
it's over. It's already over.
Trump won.
I'm telling you right now, because the poly markets of the money was such an indicator.
Wait,
of
how did you know that?
Just because you can follow the money. There's just the money never lies with this stuff. Usually, the big monies.
You mean the money that's being bet?
Yes.
Oh,
yes. And you knew where the big money and where the lines and the action.
Interesting.
And he called it from the
I was telling him that afternoon. It's over, and he's like, "Bro, it's getting close right now." And 5 o'clock, and
he's like, "It's
because
over. It's
at
done."
the end of the day, this is their Super Bowl, right? CNN Super Bowl and Fox News Super Bowl, right? They don't want to tell you that the Chiefs won in the first quarter. Right, they want you to be a fourth quarter overtime draw. They're not. I told him at 4 o'clock, this is already over. I'm telling you, the odds of Trump right now, based off the money coming in, it's
and it wasn't
done.
political. He didn't care. He was talking the odds.
Sure,
right?
sure. You're just telling you facts.
That's it.
And that's when the media was saying the pollsters, oh no, Kamal's going to win. He's like, it's over. It's done. He goes, the money lines and this and that. If you use the correct terminology, he's like, it's done. Trump won. I'm like, I don't know, man.
So what's so prevalent now is you have people paying for professional sports advice, right? You hire somebody, you're like, all right, man, I'm tired of picking the Celtics every night. I'm getting my ass kicked, right? I'm going to go hire somebody to give me professional picks. And what happens is that guy gives out those picks to the masses, right? Because he's got his whole, whatever his system is, but he's not giving it to just you, right? He's giving it to 10,000 Jasons, right?
Sure.
Ideally, in a perfect world for him. People are subscribing to him. Well, what happens is that money moves the market. So you're not getting what the professional's number is, right? If he had the Celtics maybe at -5, by the time he's released it, all these people have come bet the Celtics. Well, the number's going to keep creeping up because there's more money on that side. They got to balance the scale. So you're getting the worst of the number essentially at that point.
Right.
You don't want to buy every half of a point matters in sports. And people don't realize that. People forget how much different 3 and 3.5 matters in a football game. Astronomical, 10% of the time it's going to affect your bets. Essentially, that's how big those numbers.
Why does 3.5 matter to 3?
So key numbers in NFL, right, being 3, 4, 6, 7, and 10.
Right.
I would say probably 50% of games land on those numbers.
Yeah,
those numbers are because touchdowns, right?
Right. You can score 7, 6, or you can score 3.
So when you're getting through those numbers, it's going to increase your odds of either winning or losing drastically because if
3.5 cannot be covered can cover a field goal.
Right. So you're sitting there in overtime like, man, I got -3.5. You're dead unless somebody snaps off a touchdown.
Yeah.
But if you waited at some point, you bought 2.5, you're live.
Can you do that at Prize Picks bet during the game?
They have in-game props as well on players. We're still developing that. Second half stuff. We're still developing it, but it's there. Yep. And there's opportunity. I tell people there's opportunity there because we get caught up, all of us, as a recency bias. What have we seen is going to be what's going to play out. And that's rarely the case in sports, right? It's very rare, back to my point, you just see a team do one thing for the course of 60 minutes. It's going to be this ebbs and flows and this amazing comeback, and there's going to be stories told within the game.
Yeah.
And you got to take advantage of those opportunities.